All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Mount Panorama / Bathurst. Austin Edwards and Stephen Hoffman have the front row. Cody Burke and Patrick Pieper on the second. Chad Ragsdale, Alex Harper on the third row. Joshua Rudolph, Ryan Caldwell on the fourth. Jeremy Queener and Austin Ruskoff rounding out the top 10. Shane Hoffman starting in 11th next to Ryan Philbrick in 12th. Jesse Gordon in 13th. J.J. Ringo in 14th. Scott Roney in 15th. David Farnan in 16th. Mark Dantuma, Richie Ragsdale, Nick Ringo, and Mark Kluge round out the top 20. Brandon Yates starting in 21st. Next to Jason Bright in 22nd. Tyler Thomas in 23rd. Malachi Martin in 24th. Garrett Barber, Joe Lux, Brandon Anderson, and Jeremy Davis round out the 28-car field here in Bathurst. Even our fearless leader, Austin Ruskoff, said this is going to be wild. And as John Wyatt said, watch out for kangaroos, drivers. Everybody gets lined up on the grid, folks. If you haven't already, hit that like, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, that share button. You definitely don't want your friends and family to miss this. And don't forget, it will be on YouTube later tonight in 4K. All right, looks like everybody has got on the grid. Mark Kluge is going to start from pit road, as is Shane Hoffman. "30 laps around this 3.86-mile track. 23 deadly turns here. No cautions tonight unless the mountain gets blocked. The pace car is headed to pit road as they come down through the final turn. Austin Edwards in control. And here we go. Down the front straightaway, the green flag flies. They are down and away at Bathurst. And will anybody miss their braking point into turn one? Everybody, so far so good. Everybody makes it through, and now they head up for the... Oh, holy cow! Ryan Caldwell has taken a big hit. Austin Ruskoff also involved. Jesse Gordon caught up. Scott Roney also involved. David Fark. Wow. A lot of cars caught up back behind. Austin Edwards and Shane Hoffman, meanwhile, attack the mountain. They get to the top, a short, flat section before they head back down the mountain. The lap one so far is not disappointed. We'll take a look at the replay here in just a moment. Austin Edwards, Shane Hoffman, and Cody Burke, the top three, have broken away. Patrick Pieper back in fourth as Chad Ragsdale and Alex Harper right there. And Jason Bright has managed to dodge all the chaos. Jason up 12 spots and whoa! Jason up 12 spots into 10th. And you can see how much these stock cars are bouncing around here. They just are not designed to take the bumps here. The drivers have had to adjust their driving just to get by. And folks, let's take a look at those lap 1 incidents as Austin Edwards leads lap 1. All right, looking for Austin Ruskoff. There's Ryan Caldwell just ahead. Whoa, Ryan looked like he got bumped. All right, let's see if we can watch this from the chopper. Ryan Caldwell there in the yellow, pink, and purple car. Jesse Gordon right on his bumper. Jeremy Queener right beside. It looked like Caldwell lost some momentum, bounced back. Collected Ruskoff. And the chaos played out back behind. Collecting multiple cars. They tried to go 3 wide. There's the bounce from Ryan. Jesse Gordon gets hit, sent tumbling. And several cars caught up. Wow. Looks like Scott Roney tried to keep going. But ended up having to tow it into pit road. Nick Ringo also had a problem a moment ago. All right, there is Nick coming down the mountain. That car already damaged. Just can't get it wound up and slams the tire wall. And then his cars come back. Wow, that's several close calls. Brandon Yates, a few moments after that, wow, misses the turn as that car looks damaged. Looks like he just could not get the car to cooperate. Austin Edwards still has the lead, followed by Stephen Hoffman, Cody Burke in third. Patrick Pieper still holding on to fourth, Alex Harper in fifth. Gerald will have to talk to that judge. That score was not high enough. One score that's very high, Jason Bright in the 68 car already. Jason already up 14 spots into 8th. Weirdly, his car is showing 21. Also, weirdly, during practice, he was really struggling. Whoa! But man, he managed to avoid a lot of... Holy cow! Chad Ragsdale turned around on the mountain. What in the world? Somebody was slow as the leader comes through. All right, there's Chad Ragsdale coming down the mountain. He was still up in the top 10. Loses the back end as he comes down. JJ barely avoids it. And a moment ago, Joe Lux coming over the mountain. Gets into the grass and ends up in the wall. Now, folks, there will be a lot of free sheet metal after this one. A lot of cars have completed pit stops and come back out. Chad Ragsdale is on his way down pit road. I do expect Joe Lawley. Alright, so Joe had an incident. And Nick Ringo has had an incident. Alright, there's Nick coming down the mountain. I think we're going to see a lot of problems on the mountain tonight. There you see, just gets light as he comes down. Spins around but does a beautiful 360. Bounces it off the wall and keeps her going. Great recovery by Nick. Then a moment later, Joe Ringo heard about that incident and he said, "Oh yeah, hold my beer." There he goes into the final turns. Loses the back end. Does a reverse 360 and gets it rolling again. Just a side note, I'm not sure the admins will approve of him having beer on track. You never know. Also a bit concerned about who the heck was holding it. Ryan Philbrick has had a problem, as has the Dominator. Alright, there is the Dominator, still sitting in third. Looks like he cut the turn a little bit much, holds on to it. Then overshoots the exit. You can see it in the tire tracks. A lot of folks have. Then a few seconds later, Ryan Philbrick, as he heads up the mountain, overshoots that first turn, up the mountain, slams the wall, and that car immediately starts crab walking. It is good the drivers received unlimited fast repairs tonight, but man, they will lose a lot of time on pit road as the leaders are already into lap traffic. This will be the hardest part of the night for the leaders, navigating lap traffic. Cody Burke is loose, slams into the wall, Peepers on the move. A very rare mistake by the Dominator moves Peeper into third. Cody Burke holds on to fourth. Alex Harper now in fifth. And Austin Edwards out for a cruise as he goes by Joe Lux. All right, Brandon Anderson had a problem coming down the mountain. Ouch, into that tire wall. That tire wall is going to take several hits tonight, I think. Then Joe Lux coming down the back straightaway with the leaders closing in behind. Oh, he overshot that turn in a big way. And Brandon Yates, Tyler Thomas, and Mark Kluge have all three had big incidents in the last moment. Let's see what happened. Brandon Yates coming down the mountain. He lost control. Slammed the brakes on, just gives the wall a little kiss. Does get it rolling again. Tyler Thomas coming down the mountain as well. And oh, he and Brandon get together and kiss the tires. Then Mark Kluge coming down the mountain. And he just finds the traffic jam. Yikes. 5 laps into this one, and yeah, things are going awry. Hey, good evening, Thomas. Austin still has the lead. It looks like some more chaos back behind. Alex Harper and Jesse Gordon involved, as well as Nick Ringo and Ryan Caldwell. Does appear Bathurst is taking its pound of flesh out of everybody tonight. Nick Ringo heads down the mountain, loses it over that same spot. Ryan does as well right behind. Ryan does a stylish 360 and keeps going. And Alex Harper, as he comes over the top of the mountain, sets up back down, but as he taps the brakes, gives the tire wall a kiss and keeps rolling. You're welcome, Thomas. How are you tonight? Wow. It has been a roller coaster so far. Mostly for the drivers. Jesse Gordon has had a problem. Alright, there's Jesse coming down the mountain. We've seen this one turn and bump be the cause of so much chaos. You can see he was already unsettled. And wow, what a close call for the Dominator. Well, happy birthday, buddy. All right, let's take a lap on board with our fearless leader, Austin Ruskoff. Nope, I'm sorry, wrong Austin. The leader on track, Austin Edwards. Across the start-finish line toward turn 1, at 90-degree left-hander, everybody made it through. And then the chaos, you can see, popped off right there on lap 1. On the gas, down the straightaway. And as you can hear, the car does catch air right there. Hard on the brakes once they land. Stock cars were not made for this track, and this track was not made for stock cars as it goes up the mountain. Into the tight left turn, and with those walls closing in. On the power as he comes up the hill, just feathering it in some places. And right through that sector, you can hear the car getting light. And again, right about here, if they push too hard there, as we saw in practice, man, you'll end up in the wall. Austin dodging lap traffic like the master. Back down the mountain, you see his hands working. And Austin has his hands full out here tonight. Then down to the bottom of the mountain and out onto the straightaway. One car in the grass, that's a bit sketchy. On the power, the car gets light coming over the mountain, over the hill, into the kink as they set up for the left-hander. And back on the power, heading down into, nope, Austin's gonna bring it in. This is a little bit early for a fuel stop. Austin will be the first of the leaders onto pit road. Let's see if he takes on tires. JJ Ringo's giving up second. He is in. Austin hits his stall. Yes, he will take 4 tires and fuel. Stephen Hoffman staying out, and this just changed strategy. The drivers were looking at 8 to 10 laps on a tank of fuel, but it looks like coming in a little bit early might make this a 3-stop race, but may give you a bit more grip and speed. Meanwhile, points leader Cody Burke, man, he's having a rough night. He has slipped back to 15th. He did complete a pit stop earlier, did get repairs, and it looks like he picked up a penalty as well. Meanwhile, Stephen Hoffman, who comes into tonight second in points. Hoffman comes in tonight second in points and has been fast all night. A huge opportunity for him to make up some ground in the points, especially with the Dominator struggling tonight. Nick Ringo has had a problem back behind. There's Ringo coming down the mountain. Note that he is missing the back of it, causing him to lose some downforce and grip, just spins it into the wall. And we're going to do something we don't do very often. Here in a moment, we'll warn you, but you definitely don't want to watch for about a lap if you get car sick. We're going to look at an incident that has just taken out Chad Ragsdale. Then we're going to ride along with one of the drivers for a lap, and you'll see what happened. All right, there's Jeremy Davis as he comes over the top of the mountain. Chad Ragsdale right behind. The car gets light right through there and light again right there. And whoa, he completely lost it, slides off track. Chad Ragsdale does manage to slip by that. He heads down the mountain. And just could not get it to turn. Bounces off both walls, gets it towed in quickly. Brandon Yates has had a problem. Brandon headed toward the turn to head up the mountain. Looked like he missed his braking point and just slams into the wall. right, Stephen Hoffman has not been in yet. Austin Edwards currently in second. When Austin crosses the start-finish line, we're going to dial up his nose cam. You can kind of tell from in the car just how bumpy it is around here. But you're about to get a really good idea. Like I said, if you get car sick, look away for about 2 minutes. As we dial up Austin Edwards' nose cam, you're about to get a really good idea just how bumpy this track really is and how much these drivers are really fighting for the grip. Down the straightaway, trying to close the gap on Stephen Hoffman. On the brakes as he makes the right-hander, and you see just how bumpy it is. Every one of those bumps takes away the grip. Closing in on Hoffman's back bumper, and you see how much the car is just bouncing all over the place. Normally, GT3 cars around here are using every bit of the rumble strips, but these guys definitely are trying to avoid the rumble strips as they unsettle these big stock cars even more. Heading back down the mountain. Just trying to keep it pointed the right way, staying out of the wall. Hoffman goes wide. Austin almost got a run there as they come through lap traffic. And you can see the car is just never settled. It is constantly bouncing, constantly fighting for grip. Just a few more turns. Wow, he hit that one hard. And headed toward the final turn. You see how late he is braking to close that gap. And if you looked away, it's safe now. And it looks like everybody has completed pit stops. Ryan Caldwell, Austin Ruskoff, and David Farnan are all back in. Jeremy Davis also coming in. Brandon Yates will be in this time. He is showing a black flag, likely for incident points. And holy cow! Looked like Brandon may have gotten a little push to the side of the track. Hoffman has led a couple of laps now. The Dominator is moving back up, now up in the ninth. But man, he lost a lot of time with that speeding penalty. Meanwhile, Patrick Pieper in third, JJ Ringo in fourth. Alex Harper currently in fifth. A lot of the field is spread out. But up front, Austin Edwards still trying to reclaim the lead right on Stevens' back bumper. John, that's a very, very likely possibility as Austin Edwards is going for it. He has the run coming onto the straight, never lifts. Hoffman settles back in line and Austin reclaims the lead. Jason Bright, Brandon Yates, and Chad Ragsdale have all had problems. All right, there's Brandon Yates a few moments ago coming down the mountain. And overshoots, bumps the tires, gets hit from behind by Jason, and they all quickly recover. Chad Ragsdale, a few moments later, he was headed back up the mountain. Oh, he got too much of the rumble strip, lost it almost at the top. Brandon Yates, just a moment ago, had another problem coming up the mountain. That car was heavily damaged, doesn't want to turn. And Malachi Martin was battling for position as they headed up toward the mountain. Too much power on exit, and he kisses the wall. It's definitely been an eventful night so far at Bathurst, as Richie Ragsdale has had a problem. There's Richie heading down the mountain. Oh, the car ahead kisses the wall. Richie has to slam on the brakes. And wow, close call for Dan Tuma. Nick Ringo, who had been moving up almost since the beginning, has had a problem and has towed it in. What in the world? All right, here they come. Down the straightaways, they head toward, holy cow, Ringo completely misses his braking point, slams a wall, and collects a friend. There was a joke put to the admins before the race tonight. Usually the drivers get 1 bonus point if they go the whole race without any incident points. Some of the drivers suggested they should get 50 points for going incident free tonight. What do you guys think? And looks like for the drivers who've been caught up in an incident, go with John Wyatt. He's going to buy all your tore up cars. Like I said, put in the comments. Let's see how many points you think a driver should get if they go the whole race without any incidents. Because right now, I do believe it's about 3 drivers, Austin, Stephen Hoffman, and Patrick Pieper. And speaking of Stephen Hoffman, he is coming in. And that pit road entry is not easy in a GT3. Much less a stock car that doesn't like turning. Just shy of the halfway point as Hoffman comes in. Looks like he is playing the strategy perfectly. Knows he's going to have to do 3 stops. Some of the drivers thought they could do tonight on 2 stops, but I have yet to see anybody stretch the fuel far enough. Patrick Pieper now in second. Stephen Hoffman is off pit road in third. JJ Ringo's quietly held on to fourth. He is up 10 spots into fourth. Alex Harper currently in fifth. Jesse Gordon, despite being caught up in that lap 1 incident and catching some big air, Gordon is up 7 spots into sixth. Cody Burke in 7th, hits pit road. Jason Bright now at 15 spots, takes 7. Jeremy Queener has quietly been holding on in the top 10. Mark Kluge, another one, has come through this one. As Joe Lux goes a bit wide, look out. Whoa, that was close. And Austin Edwards just barely avoids Lux on that one. John Wyatt suggesting 50 points if they don't hit a kangaroo. Probably fair. And Jeremy Davis has had a problem. All right, there's Jeremy as he heads toward the final turn. You can see him downshifting and setting up into the final turn, but just overshoots into the grass. And oh, Richie Ragsdale can't avoid him. Patrick Pieper is in, as well as Alex Harper. Austin Edwards continues to lead, and his lead is growing. 35 seconds over Stephen Hoffman. JJ Ringo now into third. Cody Burke's last stop was fuel only. They only had 2 additional sets of tires here tonight, although I guarantee you these guys wish they had a lot more. So everybody trying to make up as much ground as possible on old tires. And wow, what a crowd as 4th place Patrick Pieper tries to come up through traffic. Jesse right on his bumper. Coming, oh! That was a close call with Malachi. Everybody manages to get through. Did hear a few of the drivers say lap traffic would be the biggest concern here tonight. Doesn't appear to be bothering Austin Edwards. However, Stephen Hoffman in second has already gained about 2 seconds on Austin. And Hoffman just set the fastest lap of the race so far. 2:10.82. And he is the only driver under the 2:11 mark. Austin's lead is shrinking quickly, and Austin still has to make that second stop. Hoffman is on the attack. That gap now down to 33 seconds and closing. Patrick Pieper back into third, Jesse in fourth, JJ on his way out in fifth. Alex Harper in sixth, the Dominator back up into seventh. Joshua Rudolph in eighth, Jason Bryan in ninth. Mark Kluge now up 10 spots into 10. It is worth noting this track is going to shake the points up a bit as the leader is on pit road. Guarantee you Stephen Hoffman is not lifting now. Cody Burke came into tonight with a 46-point lead over Hoffman. Austin Edwards, after missing a couple of races, slipping back to third, 60 points behind. Nicholas Johnson came in tonight fourth in points. He didn't attend. Patrick Pieper was fifth in points. He is likely going to move up as well as sixth place, JJ Ringo. Stephen Hoffman does get off pit road ahead of Austin. Austin did take tires on that stop. Patrick Pieper back in third, Jesse Gordon in fourth, and Jason Wright, one of the biggest movers of the night, looks like he is showing a black flag. He'll have to make a drive-through. Nick Ringo, Joe Lux also showing drive-thrus at the moment. Now Austin has led the majority of the laps here so far tonight. But Steven has put a clinic on at some points during this race. Joe Lux doing a little off-roading. Hoffman doing everything he can do to take the points lead here tonight. Patrick Pieper back in third is way behind that lead battle. JJ Ringo and Jesse Gordon battling it out over the top of the mountain. And Alex Harper is right there with them. Whoa, something has gone wrong with Jesse. Alex slips by, takes fifth, Jesse back to sixth. And it did give JJ a bit of breathing room. Meanwhile, the top two battling it out in heavy lap traffic. This is the most dangerous part of the race for the leaders, coming through this lap traffic. As you can see, both leaders though making it through clean so far. Cars left on the lead lap at the moment. Jeremy Queener is, number 12. He scoots over. He'll go a lap down. Mark Dantuma currently in 11th. But he may make up some ground here in a moment. Jason Bright is not coming in to serve his penalty. Mark Kluge is on his way in. He cannot make it from here on fuel. Hoffman has Austin on the bumper. Points leader Cody Burke, after that speeding penalty, is still trying to make up some ground. He is in 7th and has just about caught 6th place Jesse Gordon. But the Dominator's shot at a win tonight may be gone. Hoffman still pushing it with Austin right there with him. They have to be careful just how hard they push each other, though. Could force the other one or both of them to make a mistake. Jesse Gordon is in. Surprised by several of these pit stops. Nobody can go the distance on fuel for at least another lap, preferably about 3. Driver said 8 to 9 laps on a tank of fuel, 10 on the outside. And Jason Bright, still showing a black flag, has not been in. Mark Dantuma is coming in. Richie Ragsdale also on his way to pit road. Really surprised by the number of pit stops we're seeing here. And our fearless leader, Austin Ruskoff, has had a problem behind. There is Ruskoff over the top of the mountain. Loses the back end. Ends up blocking the whole road, but a great recovery. Stephen Hoffman continues to lead. Edwards has not made a big effort to reclaim it yet. Patrick Pieper back in 3rd has opened up a gap on JJ Ringo, Alex Harper. But Cody Burke is on the move now in 6th. And Cody is a lot faster at the moment than the 3 cars ahead. Laps to go. Next time by, everybody will be within their fuel window. Whoa! Malachi Martin blew up right in front of the Dominator. There's Malachi coming over the top of the mountain. He had been having a pretty decent run. Oh, gets on the brakes hard, slams the wall. And man, the engine just let go. He towed it in. Malachi had been lurking just outside the top 10 most of the night. Much like Jeremy Queener in 10th, Mark Dantum in 11th, Mark Kluge in 12th, Richie Ragsdale having a heck of a run in 13th. Shane Hoffman back in 14th and David Farnan in 15th. Farnan trying to make the move on Hoffman. Hoffman overshoots, goes wide. Farnan and Caldwell slip by. Shane slips back to 16th. Austin Ruskoff is in for his final stop. Joshua Rudolph heads in for his final stop. And the leader is in. Stephen Hoffman makes his final stop as Austin Edwards reclaims the lead. I do not believe Shane has another set of tires. So this should be a fuel-only stop. We'll see what happens. Oh, it does look like Shane's car is going up. Or excuse me, Steven's car. And it does look like he's sharing a pit stall, making it harder. And Alex Harper has had a problem. There's Alex, who's been in the top 5 most of the night, as he heads down the mountain battling JJ. Loses the back end. And lost a lot of ground. Alex did get rolling again, but man, he slips back into 6th. What a heartbreak. Harper's going to bring it in, make that final stop. Cody Burke also in for his final stop. He does have another set of tires. And it did appear Stephen Hoffman did have a set. He has got 4 fresh Goodyears on that Toyota. So final stops are underway. Looks like Austin Edwards, who stopped later than everybody else, he continues to stay out and stretch it. Jeremy Davis has had a problem. There's Jeremy heading down the straight as he turns up the mountain. Just misses his braking point and turn. Heads straight into the telephone pole. John, I have seen more, but it's been a while. Ryan Caldwell has had a problem. There's Ryan, who after being caught up in that lap 1 incident, had been fighting his way back toward the front. Comes over the top of the mountain, overshoots into the grass, and slams the wall. Ouch. And close calls all around. Patrick Pieper is in for his final stop as well. Not expecting Austin in for a few more laps. But Stephen Hoffman on those fresh tires is marching closer. JJ Ringo still holding on to third. Looks like a little bobble up the mountain. Patrick Pieper currently in fourth, and the Dominators back up into fifth. The Dominator, despite problems, losing ground early and getting a speeding penalty on his first stop, continues to fight back. Now up into the top 5. Jeremy Queener gives up 8th. He is in. And you can tell Austin is pushing it, and those tires do not have a lot of grip as that back end keeps sliding behind him. Richie Ragsdale on his way in for his final stop. JJ Ringo gives up third. He is in. And Jeremy Davis has had a problem. There's Jeremy headed up the mountain right behind. Oh! Tried to cut the turn a little too much, smacked the wall, and it sent him for a 180. And a big problem behind. David Farnan and Cody Burke right behind him. Burke tries to send it into the final turn. Holy cow. Let's take a look at this from the chopper. Cody tries to shoot down to the inside, but gets clipped, and wow. All three of them end up off track, but minimal damage, and they all keep rolling. And the leader is on his way out after his final stop. Austin comes off pit road the final time with a 12.5 second lead over Stephen Hoffman. Patrick Pieper back in third, JJ Ringo in fourth, Cody Burke in fifth. Jesse Gordon still holds on to sixth. Alex Harper keeps fighting back in seventh. Joshua Rudolph quietly has kept it in the top 10 and 8th. Mark Dantuma has snuck his way up into ninth. And Jeremy Queener holds on to 10th. Now, Austin Edwards did not take tires on that final stop. It was a fuel-only stop, about 4.3 seconds. Stephen Hoffman is closing in a bit. He is faster, but not by very much. And at the moment, fourth place, JJ Ringo is the biggest mover of the night. Four laps to go for Austin. Scott Roney has had a problem. There's Scott. Whoa! Was that a bad shift, or did his engine just let go? Riding along. Yep, his engine just let go on him. And Roney did have to tow it in. Austin holds a 13.9 second lead over Hoffman. Patrick Pieper in third. Cody Burke holds on to fourth for the moment. But he has JJ on the bumper. However, if Hoffman can hold on to second, he will close the gap on Burke. Austin third in points will close up a little bit. But Stephen Hoffman has done exactly what he needed to do here tonight. Alex Harper still holding on to the lead lap in seventh. Jesse Gordon in sixth. Oh, JJ has a problem coming up the mountain. Got too close to the wall. And wow, he is barely holding on to that thing as it comes over the top. Burke now in fourth is closing in on Pieper, but the gap may be insurmountable. Mark Dantuma is finally coming in for his final stop. Folks, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. hoping things will be back to 100% midweek. You can find thousands of shorts and a lot of race videos on our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, the World Class Short Track Series is back. And Austin Ruskoff has had a problem. All right, there's Ruskoff coming over the top of the mountain. And just overshoots his braking point. Goes straight through the chicane, does a 360 and recovers. Good save. Two laps to go for Austin the Goat Edwards. He now has an almost 17-second lead over Stephen Hoffman. Patrick Pieper back in third. Pieper in heavy traffic. Cody Burke back in fourth. JJ Ringo in fifth. Joshua Rudolph back in 8th. Jeremy Queener in 9th. Mark Dantuma holds on to 10th. Mark Kluge has had a great night, up 9 spots into 11th. Richie Ragsdale also having a great night, up 6 spots into 12th. Austin Ruskoff has had a great recovery from his incidents in 13th. Shane Hoffman in 14th. Ryan Caldwell, man, that guy's a survivor, holds on in 15th. Malachi Martin in 16th. Tyler Thomas 17th. David Farnan out early in 18th. Jeremy Davis in 19th, likely to claim 18th. Scott Roney in 20th. Nick Ringo in 21st. Jason Bright out early in 22nd. And several cars out behind as Joe Lux has had a problem. Joe comes over the top of the mountain and loses the back end coming through the little chicane. Ruskoff barely slipping by. And the white flag flies for Austin the Goat Edwards. Austin has only competed, this is his 4th race of the season, missing 2 races. He already has 2 wins. Tonight will be win number 3. Up the mountain one last time with a 19.6 second lead. Just has to keep it pointed the right way for about 2 more miles. As Austin heads down the mountain for the final time, Stephen Hoffman 20 seconds back. Patrick Pieper looking at 3rd. And a surprising run for Burke, who is not looking like he is going to come home on the podium tonight. Into the final sector for the last time. And into the final turn, Austin the Goat Edwards will get it done again, his third win of the season at Bathurst. And he is going to give us a little drift. Not his best drift, if we're honest. Stephen Hoffman has an amazing night, coming home in second. And Patrick Pieper heads down the mountain. As long as he keeps it going the right way, he will come home in third. And the Dominator will come home fourth tonight. His first race of the season, not on the podium. And now Austin is doing a burnout up the mountain. And Patrick crosses the line in third. Let's talk to our top three, starting with Pieper. Patrick, the obvious question we have to ask is, how much of this race was your eyes closed?
With my eyes closed?
Yeah.
Well, it was almost like most of the last half because my glasses were fogging up because I was so damn sweaty and tired. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty smooth for the most part. I tried to keep it off the walls, you know. I was a little surprised with getting third because I didn't feel like I had much speed in practice. But early on there, I caught up with Cody after he made one mistake, and instead of letting him go, I was like, I'm gonna try and race him. And, you know, he was still pulling away from me, but he wasn't that far ahead, and I worked him into another mistake, and that's what put him in fourth. So it feels good to beat him. It's crazy that Austin Edwards is as fast as he is, and good job to Steven, too. But I'm happy with third overall, considering I didn't practice. So.
Well, it definitely worked out in your favor, man. A heck of a night, a heck of a run, and I have to ask, how many incident points did you end up with?
I think, let's see here. Let me take a look. I got to scroll here. I ended up with 5.
Not bad, all things considered, man. Great job tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Doug.
5 incident points for 30 laps around here. That's pretty impressive. Stephen Hoffman coming home in second. Steven, you come home in second, and man, you made them work for it tonight.
Yeah, that was pretty fun there during the first half. I went into it telling myself not to short pit, and I ended up short pitting, and looks like pit strategy got us on this one, but the first two halves of the race was pretty fun.
It definitely was an interesting show, and you guys coming through lap traffic when you and Austin were right there together, man, that got sketchy a few times.
Yeah, him and I we were pretty equal there. I think I was a little bit quicker going up and down the mountain, and he was a little bit faster on the first half and the last half of the track. So when we seen those lappers, there's no room for air up top, so you just gotta pick a lane and stick with it, and hopefully they know what they're doing and don't lose their stuff in the process. And it worked out there for a little bit. Just bummed. Sucks about the end there.
Well, man, still an amazing night of racing and a great finish. A good points night as well, with Burke finishing behind you, man. Great job.
Yeah, I don't know how to plan out. I don't know if Austin will still have the lead or not, but that is true. So I think we're still in the top 3 there. So We'll buckle up and get ready for next weekend.
Great job, man.
Thank you.
And finally, our winner, Austin the Goat Edwards. Austin, I think I speak for everybody asking the question, how?
Well, to be honest with you, Doug, I don't know. This is easily the hardest track that we have on the schedule, so much to the point where I wrecked twice while celebrating after the checkered. So if that doesn't tell you how difficult it is, nothing will.
Well, I will tell you, your drifting post victory was left a lot to be desired. Do better.
Yeah, you know, we can only win so much in one day, so I decided today we were going to take the race, and the drifting can win a different day.
Man, that was a huge win, especially that last couple laps you really checked out. And noticed on that final stop, you took fuel only. Everybody else took tires.
Yeah, so there was a bit of a dilemma with the strategy. We only had 2 sets of tires during that race, so some guys wanted to do that center part of the race with old tires, and I elected to just keep my good tires and, well, put them on earlier than everyone else. And, you know, that's really not really what I wanted to do. I wanted to match everyone else, but I kind of roasted my tires racing with Hoffman there in the halfway point of the race, so had to put on new tires and take care of them, and luckily, with the way lap traffic worked out and the speed we had on top of the mountain, it all worked out. And we only tapped the wall a couple times, and I can go back to breathing again because this is a very, very claustrophobic racetrack.
It definitely is, man. And we rode along on the nose of your car. When we watch GT3 cars here, it's bumpy, but they have so much downforce you barely notice it. These cars just don't. And you could see just how much the car was bumping and how little grip you had, and in some places, coming over the top, no grip whatsoever.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing with this race. Is just this track is unforgiving to a point where if you don't take into mind your fuel burning off, your tires burning off, and you don't, you know, prepare yourself for that lack of grip you're going to have a couple laps in and then a couple more laps in, you're going to hit the wall, and that's going to be game over. So, and that's the only place where I really excelled over these guys. Burke had raw speed, and Hoffman was really good all around, but I think I was just able to kind of ride that fine line a little better than they were and just have a lot of speed up on the mountain where there's a lot of dangerous areas. So definitely happy about this one, but definitely some strengths that I have here that no one else has, so I can't be relying on those going through the rest of the season, but it's always good to get an extra win in the books.
Well, man, great job and a heck of a win tonight. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Austin the Goat Edwards back on top. Don't forget, tomorrow night, more racing, 7:30 Eastern. The World Class Short Track Series is back. We will see you all then. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope y'all had as much fun as we did. I'm almost as out of breath as the drivers. Hope everybody had a great time. Definitely an amazing night. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.